Well, what's going on, fellow zombies? Yes, I am alive. Am I awake? That's a different story altogether. 5 after 10 in the morning, Sunday, the 11th of January 2026, and the continuing downfall of the United States of America into the formless void and regime of the Trumpian Empire. A diary of the griever named John Weaver, which is me, continues. Alright, guys. You'll see bug war, which is a regular thing I deal with on a constant basis for over 2.5 years. Now, how about the rest of our country going into full dictatorship? Now we're getting into more and more of the conquering because we have an empire who's stuck on ancient times and ancient laws and rules and rituals of conquest period, and fuck everybody. You either do what we say or else we're going to beat the hell out of you. We said that to the United Nations, we said that to NATO, we said that to the ocean, the Organization of American States. We're saying that to everybody. So in the mouth of a useless senator who was getting his ass kicked left and right in the public over the past 20 years. Now he's in a political position of being a mouthpiece to everybody else. It's no wonder we got our allies kicking our ass or evading us at every turn. And now we got the other Central and South American countries not sure what to make of us. Mexico is still trying to plead through its own State Department and its own foreign ministers to play nice with Trump because they don't want the aggravation coming over the damn borders. Mexico was threatened all the time in the first Trumpian administration, the first Trumpian regime, that Mexico was going to pay for a wall. Turns out the American public did that, and not completed, and not very good looking either, or not very structural either. It would bankrupt us to get a wall built up. Now we got to go over to the drug cartels, according to the Trumpian empire, to the Trumpian mentality. Because the drug cartels are running and ruining Mexico, we got to save them. And the Mexican president is saying, no, we're willing to work in your drug situations, we're willing to work in the cartel situations along the border, but you don't have a right to come into our country and do this shit to us. Trump says, yes, I do. I do. And anything. I go into Venezuela, I can go into Mexico. Ha. Canada, you're next. Mexico may not have a good navy, or a navy at all, but they do have a lot of federality, a lot of police. And granted, they got their own issues concerning about the drug cartels. Here's the thing. What happens if the drug cartels actually sided with the Mexican government and the Mexican military and the federalities? Just say, for example, because once Trump makes an inch into Mexican territory, more so, to conquer, you want to know how fast Mexico is going to respond to the United States on this one? I can't even call us the United States of America. We got the Trumpian empire. We got the Billionaires Boy Club buying up everything and screwing up everything. We got the Trumpian empire threatening people that if they speak against the empire, there's going to be repercussions. Well, we got a lot of people in the independents out there, and other people in Congress and former military, not to mention the general public, is telling Trump, knock the shit off, but he's not. We have to wait for the midterms. Because we can't depend upon Congress right now to do the impeachment, because the Republicans are still part of Trump's empire. And they're screws over one way or another. How are we supposed to deal with that one? So if Maduro's gone, who else is next? Colombian president? He went over to Trump to plead. He doesn't have enough military support to defend his particular throne, which will come Cuba next. And what about the other islands that we have that are also British owned? British Virgin, we have the U.S. Virgin Islands, but we also have Bermuda, which is also part of England, but they have their own little sovereignty in a little bit, their own jurisdiction. We're going to invade them too. It's not exactly the invasion also that's going to be affected. It's also going to be affecting markets. How about industries that depend upon tourists like crazy? Here's the thing: airlines are already been affected already. Cruise lines are already being affected. I wouldn't be surprised if the cruise for United States, coming out of the United States, will be turned away. The ships are flagged under different foreign governments. Tax stuff. If they are all U.S., the prices would be a hell of a lot higher if they were flagged U.S. But they are flagged under different governments. While in U.S. jurisdiction waters, we have the FBI and we have the Coast Guard who can do law enforcement things. Once you get in international waters, it's still a sovereign territory. It may be a company that you're sailing on, but you're sailing on a sovereign country because they are foreign flagged. And what if the cruising industry suffers major drawbacks, that they are no longer going to be accepting U.S. passengers onto their shores, onto the islands or other countries? Simply put, a protest to the Trumpian regime. And they will potentially deny American citizens. A long time ago, the Roman Empire was conquering everybody. They had their ships, but they also had the land. And they conquered and subjugated and enlisted and drafted until they had their own armies in a lot of the quadrants of the Mediterranean, along with the portions of Africa, Middle Eastern countries, extending to possibly China, Mongolia, or potentially Russia. About as south as India, maybe, or touches of it. An over-bloated empire that finally crumbled into chunks and throughout the centuries died off. I did say centuries. We'd seen other empires last for decades. The Russians, for example, different regimes, different political regimes, aristocracies. An aristocracy taken down because of a civil war right around World War I in the 1900s, early 1900s, actually late 1800s to the early 1900s, to create the Russian Empire that they were building, a Soviet empire. And after World War II, they were taking over places left and right. It took portions of Germany, half of Berlin, and portions of Germany country itself, while Berlin was in the middle of it. Western states who did their own battles on Germany had held their own territories, but want the German culture to rebuild itself, but not into an empire. Not into a military empire anyway. But the Russians were going to make their own damn empire. throughout the decades. They did. But the amount of money that they spent into the military to build things up was depleting all the economics, all the domestics that would have kept the country going until they bankrupted the country. It had to reformulate itself, had to reimage itself. It's still a Russian empire. They still want more. Depending upon which particular lunatic leader that's still leading them. He's doing everything he can to make sure the world is his world, or at least portions of it anyway. And that includes the United States and its influence over Trump. Not to mention potentially over Congress as well. I hear the anti-Russian rhetoric. I'm not seeing it in their eyes. I'm not. Oh, I hear the fiery rhetoric. I'm like, give me a break. When was the last you've been in a drama class back in your high school or college days? Over dramatic assholes. Russia is still faltering with its own economy and its wars of an empire it wants to build up. So yeah, Russia is hoping that Trump will continue his reign, hoping that the United States will bankrupt ourselves because of what we're doing to it militarily. And Trump is just of the same caliber. He's the same caliber as Putin. Putin was raised under the Soviet Union and the KGB. Trump is just a spoiled brat who wants everything. And he learned it from his family. And now his family learned it from him. So we got a generational liars, thieves, cheats, gripsters, conmen. We have that. He wants more and he wants power. He wants control. He wants. Canada's not going to bow to him, and he knows that. But he's going to spout off the rhetoric just to keep his name in the paper and keep him under the radar. Actually, keep him above the radar. What's the spotlight? If he can't get a peace, he'll go to war. Maybe he'll negotiate for peace, and then he can use that as an excuse to get a peace prize. Someone in the soccer world tried to do that to him, to calm him down a little bit, to buy him off, to placate him for a short time. But he still wants the gold. All of it. And him threatening Greenland at this point. If he had any fucking sense in him, which I don't think he has, but he thinks the business way is for his own way. He wrote a book on how he did his business dealings. And a lot of them were bankrupt. He's made deals with other countries that are not exactly allied to us. Real estate dealings. Just so he can continue his legacy name. And live forever. That's what his thought is. As long as he's got generations to continue on, that Trump will continue. Until the country decides they're not going to continue the damn thing and just thrash it. But his relatives, his siblings will continue it. They will. On a constant basis. He wants to go to war with Greenland. He was threatening military forces. Who's he going to send out there? I mean, which military forces do we have left in the Atlantic that he's going to be dumb enough to send out to go against the Russians and the Chinese or heck, Greenland? Oh my God, they're that close to America. I'm going to laugh at the son of a bitch. We have Russian trawlers up and down the fucking coastlines on both sides. And we know them. We chart their ass. We also have Russian submarines operating in international waters, keeping a track on us. We keep in track of them. That's why we have our boomers. And that's why we have our attack subs out there. Always playing this constant game on each other. We're listening to each other. Putin knows this. He's not going to make any threats on that shit. And Trump's bullshit is just trying to rally up his own insane party, while the lunatics keep following him, trying to tell him, look, we got, look, we got. Fear. What I'm hearing from the independents right now, fear. Or laughing like crazy and trying to make it into a fucking solid joke about the damn thing. Meanwhile, the politicians are losing their minds. And the regime's losing its minds. Everyone, when they get caught in the crossfire with some of the reporters out there. See, this organization over here, they're mean. They're lousy. They're the worst of the worst. Ugh. And I'm looking at them thinking, I'm thinking too much crap about these guys. It's like you think of it, but you just don't want to say it. Because if you say it, my God, it might come true, and they'll get you for it, throw you in prison. You threatened. Did I threaten anything? Did I say anything? You made a face. How about this face? Is that a threat to you? Freedom of expression to you. Freedom of expression to the Trumpian empire, to anybody who follows them, to every maggot. I said maggot, I didn't say MAGA, because there's no such thing as maggot. It's only maggots. They're reproducing from each other. They're cloning each other. But even I'm hearing it from the independents that they're also having issues with each other, including in Congress, MAGAs, or maggots. They're all not quite sure what to do about this Trumpian empire. Are they going to be following it? Are we going to be turning into Nazi Germany? I mean, are we actually going to be having Hitler Youth? And we're going to be having the Stormtroopers? We're going to be having the SS? Are we going to have versions like that? I mean, it's bad enough we already got the Stormtroopers in the form of our own federal agents who are masked up, armored up, and pointing guns at people and saying, we got the guns! And all they want is somebody to point a gun at them so they can prove that they, the guys with the guns and the bullies, are right. And all they keep hearing is the blowing the whistles. But they'll keep thumping heads. They want the violence. They want people to go after them. They want people being forced to attack. And it doesn't matter if it's a United States citizen. It doesn't matter who is in the borders or not. They're even doing it outside. Come on, attack us. We want you to attack us. Come on. Come on. You're not doing it. You got to do it. My ego demands it. Everything of mine demands it. I demand you to fight me. And they keep puffing themselves up larger and larger and larger and larger. You know what he's saying about the economic bubbles? To a point, the membrane gets too damn thin. And it bursts. We had financial, we had real estate, technology. Whenever there's an upswelling, there's a massive swelling of the membrane. Test it out in a balloon. Any ordinary balloon, okay? You get those party packs, take a balloon, and you see how much pressure you can put under the damn thing. Until either it pops away from you and goes all over the place, or that membrane will reach a limit, a pressure limit, to where the cohesive nature of that material holding everything else in is disintegrating. until there's a pop. Oh, we're seeing it. We're seeing this damn thing blowing up like crazy. Now, it's either going to take a pinprick, maybe, to pop it, or the pressure of it is going to blow it so damn much that we're going to see everything else collapse. If I equate this to the Russian Empire as they built themselves into the Union Soviet Socialist Republic, and how much territory they tried to fight, how much money they threw into territory to obtain, to keep a hold, the bubble they had to do, and how long they had to continue their constant rhetoric and constant feeding of it. But the economics were getting lousy with them, the domestics, prices for food, or lack of food, and long lines for it. And how much support they were losing left and right. And yet, if you said anything against them, they were going against you. We Americans didn't bother to pay attention to history. Because if we did, we wouldn't be putting ourselves through this Trumpian shit in the first place. Hello! All throughout the fucking decades. We had people fighting against each other saying, oh, this is fake news. Well, guess what, boys and girls? Our America is about to be popped, probably before July 4th. Or I wouldn't be surprised if we actually popped on July 4th of this year. 250-year experiment of our great country explodes because we couldn't keep the pressure down enough to keep that balloon inflated. But no, we had to pump up the pressure. We had to pump up everything ourselves. Excuse me 1 second. Speaking about something about to explode. Sorry, guys. Some things actually do have limits. Biology of a dog and of a human. Where things, either you relieve the pressure or else something nasty happens. But look at it and consider it in the way we have and lived in our world. I try to look at it at a different point of view and perspective that scares the hell out of people or freaks them out because they don't want to think about it. They think everything's unlimited. No, there's always a limit to everything. There's always a limit to everything. And in our universe, we have limitations. We have limitations. Some of them we have to discover on our own, either by accident, by choice, by design, by something. Our lifespan is limited. Our knowledge base is limited. But either we're going to be just dealing with the limitations, or else we're going to be expanding that damn membrane until everything else goes pop. Think about it on that one. But that's the thing. People don't want you to think. They want you to just believe their own scare tactics. You have to. Do you? You always got the choice, boys and girls. Depending on what your choice is depending on the reactions and consequences of those actions. You're responsible, accountable, and transparent, guys. What are you going to do? That being said,